With more than 90,000 of them to worry about and a century plus of experience, Seattle City Light takes good care of its utility poles. Even if that sometimes means hitting them with a hammer.
What I'm going to do here is actually sound the pole. I'm going to listen for hollow decay on the inside. It's pretty simple. It's kind of like looking for a stud in the wall, except for I'm looking for not the stud. So this is a Douglas fir. It's a 1974. I think it's probably a 65-footer.
Dave Fish works for Intec, a private company that has the pole inspection contract for City Light.
Well, from right here, there's phone at the bottom, cable TV on the second one, and I'm not sure what the third one is.
He's at work near Alki, inspecting a utility pole that's been on the job for more than 40 years. Even after decades of service, with the right care, it still has a long life ahead.
Typically, though, a pole should be able to last 60 years easily if it's well maintained, if it was treated properly from the factory. If there's especially the maintenance, like what we're doing now, actually inspecting the poles and treating them to keep them the way they are. After digging the pole down to 18 inches, I want to do a full visual inspection, looking for loose hardware, the pole actually being damaged by woodpeckers or tracking burns. Some of the situations we might run into is broken cross arms. If the pole is rotting from the inside, you can actually have signs of it from bolts pushing the pole inward and smashing it. This one looks really good.
City Light has about 93,000 wood poles in our system. I think our average age of the wood poles is somewhere around 38 years old, so it's a big fleet to manage.
John NIERENBERG is the manager of distribution engineering for City Light. He says the climate around here is tough on utility poles.
We're probably in the second worst zone as far as pole conditions. Florida, kind of down on the Gulf, is probably the hottest spot as far as pole conditions. But we're next highest because, what do we have here? We're kind of a moderate climate. We're not, so we can have decay all the way through the year. We're a very wet climate, so there's plenty of moisture to kind of foster decay.
Preventing decay is an affordable option. It costs about $10,000 to install a new pole, so inspection and maintenance makes economic sense and is better for the environment. In an average year, City Light replaces hundreds of utility poles across its sprawling service area. The cost adds up. Back out at Alki, Dave Fish is getting ready to administer Intec's version of an ounce of prevention.
They are a diffusible boron rod. They work really great for dealing with bugs and other decay. It's a relatively benign product. I'll drop these in here and follow it up with a plug, and over the next 8 years or so, they'll dissolve and work their way throughout the grains of the wood and help preserve it and keep the pole the way it is.
Maintenance of this individual pole is part of City Light's larger effort to inspect all 93,000 over the course of a decade. The work is about halfway done with, knock on wood, about 5 more years to go.
We're going to be doing 12,000 inspections this year. So my guy Mike and I, we're going to do basically 1,000 poles a month through this year. So it should be easy enough.
And while those 12,000 poles are already mapped out, that doesn't stop City Light's John NIERENBERG. When he's out driving around, after work or on the weekends, he keeps his eyes open and his head tilted slightly up.
I've seen some sad-looking poles along certain streets in our neighboring utilities and realized that we've done a good job of trying to keep our foliage. And occasionally I'll run into a street that we have and I'm like, oh my gosh, we got to get to this street sooner than later.
Watch CityStream Thursday nights at 7 on the Seattle channel, or get video on demand and podcasts anytime at seattlechannel.org.